Jessica! What's up, friend?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I'm
Good.
trying to get set up on my laptop instead of my phone here.
Oh, no worries. You're good. Susan, how you doing today? It's Friday. We made it.
Been a very rough week, but yes, we did.
Has it? I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, my husband had to have back surgery again.
Oh, no.
Um, Third time in 7 weeks. So that was yesterday.
Oh, my
It was
goodness.
Wednesday and Thursday. So now we're back at it.
How's he
He
doing? Three surgeries in less than 2 months?
had a herniated disc
Oh, no.
and he had surgery on in the end of February.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was on a Tuesday. And then by Saturday, a piece of the disc had worked its way out and was
Mm-hmm.
sitting on top of the nerve. So then he had to go in 7 days later and have surgery again to get that off. And then Monday he was everything was fine. We hit the 6 week mark, and then um Monday night he couldn't walk. And by Tuesday he was back in bed again in excruciating pain. So
Oh, no.
Wednesday morning I said, you need to call the doctor and say we need to go to the MRI, go to the ER and get an MRI. So another piece of the disc had broken off, the same disc that had herniated and was sitting on the nerve again. So yeah, and the crazy part was we get to the ER at like 5 o'clock on Wednesday, and they had no beds. So he spent the night in the ER. Um, we didn't even get moved out of the ER until they took us up for surgery at 2 o'clock on Thursday. So, and then we got home by 6.
So to say that you've had an eventful week sounds like a drastic understatement.
Oh, it's been, yeah.
Do you
I
guys need
got
anything?
the routine down now.
Wow.
What?
Do you guys need anything?
No, we're good. We're
You
good.
sure?
Yeah, my daughter brought us over dinner last night, and he's sitting on the couch reading a book right now. So just said it was going to be a little bit longer time this time because 3 times in the same spot in a short period of time. So um, but we're good. I have 3 adult daughters, and they're all one's coming over tomorrow, and the other one will be here on Sunday to help us out with some stuff. So
Well, beautiful. Okay. Well, if anything changes, please let us know if there's anything
yeah,
that we can do.
but no, we're all good finally.
All right. Well, good. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, so I'm a little behind on my video, but I'll get to it.
All right. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Mr. Fisher, dude, are you excited to do some fishing? I'm excited to do some fishing with the Fishers.
Sí, señor. Where are we going fishing?
Well, was going to go down to Seward on Memorial Day weekend. Would
I
you like
may
to be
drag
my
my
date?
camper. Yeah, I may drag my camper down there as
Dude, you
long as we
should.
can be the white trash of the neighborhood.
Dude, I was gonna stay. Have you stayed at the military resort down in Seward?
Never have.
You
No.
haven't, dude. It was like $27 a night, bro.
Wow.
27
That's
bucks a
cheap.
night. Uh, Hookups. They have a place where you can carve your fish up. You can store it there. You can actually, they actually have a vacuum bags and everything too.
Let's buy it.
Do what?
Let's buy it.
Messi's playing in Miami.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. We should. It's ran by Fort Rich.
Is it really? I
Mhm.
didn't know. I've never even seen it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Bro, you have to go there. We spend all June at the military resort. Well, you've been to Stony Creek, haven't you?
possibly.
It's right. It's
I'm a
right.
glamper. I'm a glamper.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah, I don't camp. Don't judge me, Bill, and think that I sleep in a tent like the other heathens. I make sure that my Apple TV is in my camper and that there is Wi-Fi when we go camping. Don't you judge me and think for a second that I'm going to hoof it in a tent.
Yep. Yep. I camp with a 10 mil everywhere I go. There's probably two or three of them around me. and I make sure that my camper is very bear safe, and or at least gives me 5 minutes to wake up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh shoot, dude. I love it. Yeah, I love going down to Safeway. I get a whole bunch of Ben and Jerry's, stock my freezer, and I'm binging Supernatural while I'm camping, bro.
You're fasting, huh? Camp fasting.
Well, welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're 4 minutes after. I'm going to put one more reminder out to anybody who didn't see this or it wasn't on their radar real quick to get in here because I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
While he's doing that, because I haven't been in all these meetings with you guys, I just want to find out, just a gauge, who's all involved in some type of co-living in any way, shape, or form. Susan is, Diane, Daryl. So 3. Okay. Jesse. Fantastico. What are you guys doing in co-living? Well, I'm just making conversation while he's doing his thing.
I personally haven't done any yet. I'm just getting into that space, but I do multifamily, buy and hold, single family buy and hold, fix and flips. But my Mount Everest is geared towards co-living as well. So just getting into the space, want to know as much as I can about it.
Are you in Canada?
The main thing I'm looking at is how are people exiting from the capital? They're borrowing on it.
That's great that you mentioned that, because I've been working that up this morning. And so I've got option 1 that we're going to talk about later, on what that actually looks like.
Awesome.
Are you from Canada?
Yes, I am.
I heard the aboot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That gave it away.
Yeah.
I keep the A's to a minimum, but the other one I can't avoid.
Gotcha. Well, awesome. Susan, what about you?
Well, we're just getting started in this. It's also my Mount Everest. My husband and I want to do provide senior co-living, so 55 plus communities.
Nice.
We got into it because of my mom, and watching her in Florida. They're set up for this stuff. She paid
Filmmaker.
$500 for an apartment in Florida,
That's at 4:45
and
today, I think.
we live in South Carolina, and there's
You
just
saw a message from Chloe.
nothing here that's affordable for especially people living strictly on their Social Security.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a struggle. And that's something we'll certainly talk about, and talk about pricing and what we should be thinking about if pricing goes. And yeah, the other struggle you've got in Florida and the coastal states is the insurance has gone
Do you want to hear?
way up, way up. I bought a place in Pensacola last year, and I did my due diligence on it and asked the seller to provide me with his costs for everything, his
That's our
utilities
wager.
and so on and so forth.
That's our wager.
And come to find out, I took over. Basically, I didn't take over. He canceled his insurance, and then I called his insurance company and said, "Hey, I'm the new owner of, and I need to just take over, basically restart back up his insurance." It was 8 times what he was paying. 8 times.
You can assume a policy as long as it's not USAA. I worked in retail real estate.
But he canceled it before. There's a lot of people in the Gulf states that are doing what's called going
They
bare.
own it out. Yeah, they can.
Yeah, and it's just a gamble. They're just basically saying, "Well, I'm going to gamble this." But the problem is the big gamble is, when you're dealing with someone's life, and someone, possibly gets hurt or dies on your property, that's a huge gamble. So to not have that kind of umbrella, at least for something like that, is, could be catastrophic.
Thinking more in the upstate area instead of I'm on the coast in Charleston, but like even I'm in an X zone, and our flood insurance, we started out at $450 for an X zone, and now it's over $1,000.
Do you know, is there like a map? I've been trying to find it. Is there like a map that shows where the good zones are to buy?
You can go on FEMA
FEMA. Okay, I didn't think about FEMA. Okay, good.
because that's where all you have to buy your flood insurance through FEMA. So,
Okay, cool.
yeah, it has a map of what, and they rezone the map like every 4 or 5 years. So we went from an X zone to an AE, but since I already had X zone flood insurance, I got grandfathered in at that price. So if we ever sell our house, whoever we sell it to can assume our X zone policy.
Gotcha. Jess, I'm just making conversation. So whenever you're ready to rock this thing, you just let me know.
You're good, baby. I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's get into this, guys. First of all, thank you guys for jumping in here. This is awesome. I didn't realize that there was this many people that were interested in doing senior co-living. I knew me and Bill had started making conversation about it, and then it's kind of one of those things where you start putting it out to the universe, and then you start seeing how things like line up. Like there's so many people that wait until there's the right moment. They think they need to see that entire staircase before they take the first step, not realizing that you take that first step is how you start to see the rest of the path. So this is really exciting, and I'm glad. Susan, I think it was you that initially put this out there and started everything. So thank you for being willing to put that out there. I mean, you're what brought everybody here together today. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So I don't know how many people know. I'll just take a couple seconds, just kind of give some context, and then I would love to kind of just guide the conversation. But I'd love to make this, everybody off mute. Like, let's contribute. Let's really figure out a way to grow together and to make this impactful and in a way that we can make lots of money and stuff together as well. So, to give you guys some context, I don't know everybody who knows. I was really, really into co-living. Obviously, still am, and it started probably about 18 months ago. I switched from wholesaling to buying property, I guess probably about 2 years ago, and purchased about a little over 80 doors in pad splits. And then now Bill and I are focused on senior co-living. So when it comes to creating the model, like if there was a model, that's something I'm really, really good at. I don't know if you guys know or not, I'm also a business coach. And so I was really grateful for the opportunity that I had in the military to take the skills and things I learned as an instructor and apply that here with taking things that are kind of complicated. There's a lot of different moving parts, especially when it comes to real estate, and kind of putting, simplifying these into a framework that that we can use to grow something and to work together in. And so I want to share with you guys more or less kind of the framework that I have used to grow and scale my own portfolio and identifying kind of the major areas that we need to be cognizant of. And then, as you guys know, in a traditional military fashion, what I don't want to do, and this is something that I just propose that we do, but I'm certainly, like I said, I don't know everything. I'm open to anybody's feedback. I want this to be a big collaborative thing where we're not just coming together and just sharing information and being like, oh, well, that was cool, and I'm going to go off on my own and take what I learned and then go do it. Like, let's make this. We're in Owners Club for at least a year together. So let's really make the most of it. Even if we need to have meetings like this once a week or every other week, something that is just consistent on the implementation side of things for the real estate. So anyway, let me share with you guys the model that I put together for growing my own portfolio. And then I'll kind of share what my thoughts are on how we can move forward. Because what I would love to do is keep everybody at the same step. And I think in that way, in my humble opinion, I think we would be much more efficient. I think we'd be able to solve a lot of problems better that way. But I am open to any ideas that anybody has. So let me share with you. Let me share my screen. Did it share? What do you guys see on your end? Do you guys see anything on your end?
Neat.
Oh, here we
It says
go.
business card. There you go.
Okay, cool. So this is something I like to call, whoa, I'm zoomed in a lot there. The Golden Gals engine. It's going to be broken up into 4 parts. We've got acquisition over here. Now, acquisition is what? Come off mute. Let's talk about this for a second. There's two main sources of acquisition. There's going to be inbound and outbound. So acquisition is, of course, our leads. How are we acquiring the properties? Now, somebody give me an example of what you think inbound acquisition would look like.
PPC,
Okay.
Facebook marketing.
Sorry, I heard PPC.
Facebook marketing.
Okay. I like that. PPC. That's supposed to be an F, by the way.
Sorry, I'm abroad in a restaurant, so I'm sorry.
Facebook marketing. As you guys can see, I didn't leave enough room to put a list together, so I'm going to let you guys continue this list, but let's keep going with this. PPC, Facebook marketing.
Sorry, what does PPC mean?
Pay per click.
Sorry?
Pay per click.
Pay per click.
It's the Google ad. It's Google Ads.
Okay.
And there is the SEO, the organic also, like the website, people coming to you also. Yeah, it's okay. Inbound.
Got it. Thank you.
So I'm gonna throw one in here that is my sole strategy.
What about the MLS? If you have access, like I have access to the MLS.
So let's talk about that. So let's talk about what outbound is now. So you got MLS. Now, do you know why I put MLS on the outbound, Susan?
Because I'm calling them.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So we've got MLS. What else?
We do prop.ai.
Prop.ai. So I don't know anything about that. What is that?
We had a conversation about that. And
That's right. We did. We did.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes. Oh my gosh. We need to oh my gosh. Michelle, we got to hop on another call about that. Prop.ai. I actually was scrolling through my photos and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I've got a video of Michelle telling me all about it.
Be like, what is it? PropStream or
Oh, you know what?
Any marketing channel in general is the rest. Yes, it's the
How about
mailers,
we just sum this up and
calling.
direct to agent?
direct to agent, direct to seller. And then from there, like we can kind of start talking about, oh, we've got prop AI, we've got pre-foreclosure list, we can do probate, we can do we've got just these little subcategories that we can go beyond that. Now, because we're all an owners club, do I need to go down that route? I'm happy to do it. I don't want anybody in here feeling like, oh, I wish we would have gone a little bit further in here so I had some understanding. So
Well, I do want to say that direct to agent doesn't necessarily always mean out. I have a few agents who call me on a regular basis and email me and say, hey, here's my new updated listings of everything that I have. So that's kind of like in and out because you have to cultivate that relationship first. But when you find really good agents, they're contacting you with the properties that they know that you're looking for. So that is another option.
I love it. Well said. Thank you. So that is one we can definitely add on in and out. Okay. So we got the acquisition side of things. Now we've got the money. Do I need to explain this at all, or is it pretty obvious?
What do you mean by money? What the money it costs to buy it? The money you're bringing in?
Good question. I'm glad. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. So in short, when you're buying properties, actually just made a big post about this inside of Sub2 this morning. Most people have trouble in their business because they're focused on solving system problems as opposed to focusing on the result. So if you were to go ask somebody, hey, I need to go buy, right? Because we're all buyers in here. I need to go buy a property today. What should I go do? More than likely, what's going to happen is the overwhelming majority of responses that you're going to get are going to be process solutions. I need to go buy a property. What you said and what most people hear are not the same thing. You said, I wanted to buy a property. What should I go do today? Somebody's going to tell you, oh, go skip trace the list. Go down to the courthouse and grab a tax delinquent list. Go start door knocking. Go start, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all processes. The result we want is to buy. And there's only two things that you need to go buy a property today, whether you are buying conventionally or creatively. There's only two things that you need to buy real estate.
Boats and hoes.
Close.
Oh.
You need to find the deal, and then you need to be able to go raise the money to buy it. That's it. You don't need a dialer. You don't need a CRM. You don't need any of that stuff. Actually, as a matter of fact, we had a wholesaler send Bill and I a property that we're moving on in Idaho Falls that's going to be a Golden Giles property. And that very same day, this was Tuesday of, I think either last week or the week before, that very same day, a wholesaler sent us a deal. It underwrote. We're like, yes, let's move on it. That very same night, I went and raised capital for it at our meetup we have here in Anchorage. Those are the only two things you need. You don't need a system. You don't need a dialer. You don't need a list that you got to skip trace. You don't need to be door knocking. You don't need to be cold calling. You don't need any of that stuff. Those are all process-oriented things. When it comes down to it, all the fluff, we put the blinders on, and it's like, what is the only thing that I need? It's deals and money. Anything that is not directly deals or money, you stay away from. It's a waste of time. You don't understand what your ROI is. You don't understand what your time is worth if you're focused on anything other than these two things. So, Susan, that's what I mean when I say money. We've got the deal, and it's like, okay, what's the entry fee? How much is rehab? Are we furnishing the property? What's that total look like? And then we need to go raise that money now. So, in order to beg your pardon?
Sorry, I wanted to interrupt. Okay. Can I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Sort of. I didn't catch what you said.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, of course.
So, do you guys buy mainly creative or seller finance, or it doesn't matter? Like, as long as the deal makes sense.
So, in the past, 99% of the properties I bought were creative. But I think that's a question. I didn't know if you're asking me or everybody else, but I think it doesn't matter whether you're buying it conventional or creative. It's you can go find a property on the MLS and then you just go raise for that entry fee.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. So what are some things that we can do to start raising capital? What are some things that we need for money?
Well, you could either use business credit, you can reach out to PMLs. There are lots you can offer PMP if you want to go that way. Anyway, you reach out within this community and Gator Sub2.
So good to see you. It always give me a kick. I feel like.
Hey, March, we can hear you. Okay, credit, PML, PMP.
DSCRs? Well,
Okay.
I guess it credit too.
Yeah, I mean, DSCR.
So
This
this
is a hot topic right now.
into place.
Oh, yeah.
Fractional.
Yeah.
seller finance.
Well, that would be kind of like the acquisition side of things.
Yeah.
But yes, you're not wrong. Absolutely. Okay, so we won't go too deep into this. I just wanted to give you guys the framework so you can see how you should be thinking about building your guys' model with some examples, and then the intent of maybe keeping this ongoing is just something where we get a little bit more into the weeds with. Okay. Dispo. Now, of course, what are we talking about in this scenario as it relates to dispo? We're obviously not wholesalers. What am I talking about?
Clientele.
Okay. Yes.
You want to eat it?
I can't spell apparently. That's supposed to be an L. Clientele. Is it one L or two L's?
I think it was one.
Okay.
Just one.
Clientele. So who's our clientele, fam?
55 plus seniors.
Your gals.
Patience.
Maybe depending on your action, what you're looking to do. So what Jesse and I are looking to do is we are not looking for the type of situation where we require special care. So you said patience. That could be a model you're looking for, but that is going to require a lot more involvement with permitting and special licensing and so on and so forth. So that just depends on your model.
So when we first started thinking about this, we were thinking not only to do seniors, but young professionals, because I mean, I've seen it with my daughter, and just it's all over the news. People right out of college or a few years out of college can't afford to pay rent or buy a house. I mean, the rents are astronomical. At least where I am, I know. And even buying a house, people are priced out of buying a house because the prices have never gone down from COVID.
So are we talking about co-living, or are we talking about senior co-living?
So that would be that would be co-living if you can try and mesh that. I mean, I was thinking we might do both, have some senior living and some co-living, but here's my question about senior living. Do you have to have some type of special permit or something for fair housing if you're only advertising to seniors or 55 plus?
That's a good question. I honestly don't have the answer for that yet.
I think it's probably going to pertain to where your area is and what the codes and laws and the municipality is, and everything is different. Every single city. I mean, like for example, right now on the board of the municipality of Anchorage, Alaska, we have a very left-leaning board for the municipality. That could change when the seats change. If it went to a blue sided seat, all the regulations could change by the minute. So that's one thing to really consider. Do you have a landlord friendly state? Do you have a non-landlord friendly state that you're dealing with? That's something just to consider right off the bat. But what I found, I called Maricopa County, and in Maricopa County, I told them what our plan was, and they didn't have any single problem with it at all. They just said, don't go over 6 people, because once you go over 6, now you have a rooming house and you have very special rules and regulations and sprinkler systems and things like that come into play. So I think it's all going to be area dependent.
Okay. Call the county.
we should definitely get some confirmation on that. And that's exactly why I wanted to bring everybody in here. So as we're going through this together, like we have all of these specific answers. And we're all following the same model. We're working on the same thing. We're generating leads the same way. We're sharing resources. We're sharing information. We're sharing KPIs. We're raising capital together. Like this is the entire point. And then obviously, when we have questions like this that come up, that's something we're going to need to know. So Bill and I are getting ready to take our first property down in Idaho Falls for this Golden Gals model. And that's something that we're going to have to definitely get a clear answer on for Bonneville County in Idaho.
What
Falls.
was the specific question again? I'm gonna find out.
The question was, if you're doing a specific class of people, 55 plus, do you have to have some type of special permit or something like that because of fair housing? There's what, 7 protected classes? Because I know there's a lot of 55 plus communities, especially around here. And then I don't know if they have to have if you're building one, if you have to have a special permit or release or something from the county that you can only advertise to that group.
Yeah, that's I'm definitely gonna find, because also the same thing, because we're dealing with my gals, right? So that's female seniors. So that question comes up a lot, is how do you deal with the fair housing rules when you're saying it can only be a female or it can only be a male, or this is co-ed, how do you segregate? And that is a good question. And the answer is, I don't know. But I'm going to find out.
I have a question. I don't know if we have the answer for this yet, but I'm a project manager here in Canada, and I know in Ontario specifically, I work for the provincial government, and I know that we have standards that we have to abide by, with accessibility and stuff like that. Is this something that you guys have in the US? Like, if we're going to be doing senior living properties, do we have to have certain, wheelchair accessible washrooms and bars on bathtubs and emergency buttons and stuff like that? Is there those types of requirements when we're setting up these homes?
I know an assisted living there is, but I don't
Yeah.
know about an independent house.
Okay.
So for us, what we're going after is independently healthy women who do not require care of any kind. And the reason is because we follow under the same rules as just a rental. So if you're renting out your single family home to a single family, you're not required to do any of that stuff. That would be on them if they wanted to make modifications. But we're just renting out a house to capable people.
Sorry, okay. I was thinking assisted living model. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No, for us, and that's a great question, Connie. For us, Bill and I both being veterans, one of the things that we're doing is our applicants will be required to do X amount of pull-ups in a minute, sit-ups in a minute. They've got to go run a mile and a half in under a certain amount of time.
80
Can they
minutes.
hold their booze?
So
14.
doing keg stands, I think that's one of the requirements. So
Got it.
yeah.
Love it.
All right. So this is really great. So as you guys can see, one of the reason I'm putting all of this into a model right now is so you guys can see when we're all like, when we have acquisition, it's like, hey, all these questions around acquisitions, like how do we get more leads? How do we vet them? How do we do all these kind of things? Where are you guys finding the most amount of leads? Like we can have these types of conversations, or somebody can say, hey, I have a dispo question, which we all know now after having this conversation, it's going to be around our clientele. It's going to be around permitting. It's going to be, how are we doing this? Is it state to state like Bill was talking about? Or there's some federal regulations in place that we need to be cognizant of? So anyway, we all get to kind of go through this together. Now, the last part of this that most people overlook is your ops, your operations. You've got to have an operations manager in place. Now, I'm going to come off sharing screen here for a second. What most people miss the mark on when it comes to growing and scaling this business is they put themselves in a position of doing everything themselves. They're the ones making all the phone calls. They're the ones that are following up with all the contractors. They're going and getting all the bids. They are paying all the mortgages. They're making monies to the lenders. Jessica, are you raising your hand? Is that you right now? Okay, let's ixnay that. So one of the things I tell my clients, one of the very first things actually that I have them do, and I'm not saying you guys need to come in here and do this right off the get-go, but I just want to give you context here so you understand what we're building. One of the very first things that I have them do is hire an operations manager. As soon as they start my program, your very first task, boom, hire operations manager. But Jesse, I don't have a business yet, and I don't have leads coming in, and I don't have it. Yeah, I know. So right off the get-go, it's going to put you in a position where now you have to be able to communicate to somebody else and say, hey, I'm hiring for an operations manager position. And you've got to be able to understand why did they even apply, what's important to them. You've got to be able to communicate the vision. This is what I'm trying to build. You're our first hire. This is what I see the first 90 days looking like. This is how we're going to ramp up. This is what I see the next 12 months looking like. Pace alluded to this on day one of Owners Club this year. He said, if you have people coming into your, I think it was Pace. Could have even been Dan. Dan Martell is one of my coaches as well. And so either way, if you don't have that ability to speak that into existence where people see the value in what you're trying to build and having them come along for the ride, it's because you suck. Now, I don't say that in a derogatory way. That's the way he said it to me. He's like, Jesse, you freaking suck. And I was like, okay. So then I had to get better at my communication skills. I had to get better at being able to sell what is it that I'm working on so I can bring somebody else in. Now, the reason that this is so important here, I want you to hear me on this. Take notes. The reason why this move is so important, why this chess piece, most people are just a couple of chess pieces away from being where they want to be, from living the kind of life they want to live, from doing all these things, but they don't realize it. You hire an operations manager to come in. Now, Bill and I have an operations manager, and he helps out a ton. He handles all of the underwriting for the properties that come in. He handles all the communication between us and the wholesaler. He handles all, he goes and finds and vets property management companies. He goes and finds and vets contractors. He does all the communication with them. Bill and I are virtually like hands off on all of this stuff. Now, if we were bogged down, if our entire day was bogged down with all those things, the underwriting, the messaging wholesalers back, email and all those kind of things, if everybody understood the amount of time, energy, and effort it took to go get deals and raise capital, they would never put themselves in the position of underwriting another property for the rest of their freaking life. In order for you to go grow your business, you need to wake up every single freaking day with two objectives. I need more deals sent to me, and I need more capital. And you need somebody to be able to come in and handle the operations, putting systems and processes. As a matter of fact, here's another little tidbit. You guys are the CEO. You guys are the leaders. You guys are up here. When most people hire, most people's first couple hires is down here on the bottom of the totem pole. They hire a VA, they hire an acquisitions manager, and instead of buying back their time, all they did was put them in a position of working in their business instead of on their business. Great. They're no longer the ones that are generating leads and talking to sellers and all this kind of stuff. They got a VA or an acquisition manager doing that now. Great. Perfect. But if you're doing your job the way you should be, your job as a leader is to grow your people. You grow your people and your people grow the business. That's the paradigm shift I want everybody to take from here. You grow your people and the people grow the business. So if you're doing your job the way that you should be doing it, then when you hire an acquisitions manager, as an example, you should be spending every freaking second pouring into them. You should be listening to recordings. You should be doing role plays. You should be giving them feedback. Now, does that sound like growing a business, or does that sound like you're working in your business?
Growing.
Well, you're not growing because you're not making any more money. You're working in the business. You're a glorified manager now. The thing that's going to grow your business, thing that's going to scale your business is having more deals come in and more money being poured into your business. And that is your job. So instead of hiring down here on the totem pole where you get a VA or an acquisitions manager, you hire somebody to come in and work directly underneath you. You go find an A player, somebody who knows already what they're doing. They understand the systems. They understand the operations. You don't need to go train them. Now you're gonna have to provide some bumper lanes, of course. But I mean, Bill, it's been seamless. Bill and mine's job. The only thing that our job is to go raise capital every single day and go get more deals sent to us from wholesalers. Now, how do we do that? We do that through networking. We do that through a lot of social media posts. We do that through a lot of content. So now that becomes your primary job. Is anybody seeing any parallels between what I'm describing to you and then now what you see Pace do every day? This is how you grow and scale your business.
I know. I guess I have a limited mindset right now because I'm thinking, that sounds wonderful. How do I pay for them?
Good question. Good question. So you may have to pay them on commission, at least for the first little bit until you can get some momentum going. Everybody in here is familiar with the Orbit program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in short, somebody's familiar with it. Just in short, in 15 seconds, for everybody who doesn't know, what is it?
It's somebody that wants to, hold on. It's somebody that comes and works for you, as like a learning experience, kind of like an apprenticeship.
Exactly. So I don't want you guys getting, and Susan, thank you for bringing that up because I think everybody can relate. As a matter of fact, that's every single one of my clients, like 99% of my clients have the exact same thing. It's like, oh my gosh, that sounds all great and all, but then how do I do this? And so I had a mentor tell me one time, actually it's Dan Martell. He said, it doesn't take money to make money. It takes resources.
Mm.
And now your job is to build the skill set of what it means to become a resourceful person.
Mm.
So that's where your focus now is going to be around leadership skills. Matter of fact, you can even write this down. Your focus right now should be becoming a world-class leader. And then I want you to write underneath that, and this is something you guys can do after the Zoom or on your own time. Literally start making a list of all the skill sets, abilities, traits, characteristics that you think make up a world-class leader. And now you have a list of things that you need to be working on. Now you have a list of books that you need to be reading. Now you have a list of everything that you need to be doing every single day and every single week that's going to grow you into that person that's capable of making the kind of money that you want to make. Talent acquisition is a skill set. Okay. I'm going to share my screen one last time. I'm just going to wrap this up with a cherry on it, and then let's open it up a little bit. Come on. Share screen. It's thinking. Here we go. Okay, ops. So this is going to be, one other thing I was going to add to that. Systems and processes. A company's value is based on its ability to run without you. One last thing I was going to add, since we're talking about ops here. I told you guys your ops is somebody who works right beneath you, right? They're not at the bottom of the totem pole. They're near the top. Now, anybody that you hire on underneath you now, anybody else you bring onto the team, are you in charge of training them?
No, the ops person is.
100%. So that opens up all of your time now for raising capital and bringing in more deals. So what I propose, this is what I was going to say. Now that we all see the model, we understand the model. What I was going to propose is we do each quadrant one at a time. And we work on each quadrant together. And we support each other in each quadrant together. So as an example, this is what I'm just thinking. We all work on quadrant 1, acquisition, leads. And as a team, this is where we start sharing information. This is where we start bringing in leads. This is where we start saying, hey, this is what's working. This is what's not working. And then we have to measure and track those KPIs. So before Bill and I were partners, one of the things I built up my business where we were getting between 400 and 500 deals sent to us a week. And it was like, all right, which ones do we want to cherry pick? Let's just go raise capital for it now. Now, notice I said 400 or 500 deals. That means deals that are already locked up under contract. This wasn't, my strategy wasn't an acquisitions team. I didn't want another process. I didn't want somebody else that I had to, I'm going to use the word babysit. That sounds wrong. I don't mean it in a demeaning way, but I just didn't want some other thing that I had to look over. I didn't want another system that I had to track. I didn't want more KPIs that I had to have another meeting about. So for me, what I wanted to do is create something that was simple, because simple scales. The simpler you can make something, the faster you can scale, the more predictable it becomes. So for me, my strategy was just, I'm just going to go connect with a bunch of wholesalers, get them to send me all their deals. But give me some feedback, guys. Come off mute. Let's open up the dialogue a little bit. Let's maybe spend I don't know how much time everybody has. I'll stay on another 45 minutes if you guys want. And let's kind of open this up a little bit. Let's open up some dialogue and see where we can all start working together. We can even create some accountability here. Let me know your guys' thoughts.
So what are you guys, Jesse, looking for? We mainly need deals. And Bill, what's the need?
What are we
in your
looking
business?
for?
Yeah, mainly the deals.
Hey, John, how old are you?
Well, we're always looking for more deals and more money. But I don't know if that's the question you're asking.
Yeah, I'm running. Yeah, you remember Jesse? We just spent the last few minutes of Squad Up.
Yeah.
So I'm running this dispo business also. And I'm getting tons of deals across my desk on a daily basis.
Are we on your dispo list, Alex?
I'm not sure, but I also schedule one-on-one. We do it. And I'm just in Greece now. Sorry, it's a little bit noisy here in the restaurant. So I'm connected from there. But definitely looking, to see if we can get some of the deals, that I'm getting through my desk, because I'm getting a lot of deals, so we need to be more specific, and what areas you guys are looking for. And I'm definitely looking to source deal, but of course I'm looking to get into this business itself, rather than just get some commission and stuff. Yeah, so definitely that's something that's interesting me, and that's why we had the discussion. Remember, we had maybe a minute discussion in Squad Up, in the lane, to check out from the hotel. We had this minute of discussion with you.
Another meeting.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to be on your buyers list. It sounds like, Alex. What's the best way for all of us to send what I've been doing is I've just been sending me and Bill have like a company email that we use. It's called Deal. We just labeled it. The address is deals@mygalshome.com. So we just been handing that out to wholesalers. And then we have our ops manager who has access to that email. And so he just underwrites everything that comes into that email. Is that the best way just to get deals sent to us, or how can we work with you?
So you have my phone number, so the best way, probably text me your buy box, like I have my VAs working, we're like 8 people in the organization, it's quite a big organization by now. So we're definitely looking, just connect with me, text me, I'm interested, this, and I can put you, we have very specific system that goes by the buy box, like based on your location. based on the house itself you're looking for. And yeah, we're getting quite a lot of deals throughout our desk, and yeah, we're growing. We're kind of doing nationwide these days. We have a couple core areas, but we do nationwide. And the nice thing, we also try, like to stay within the same price of the wholesale, which is like we don't add fees. It depends on the wholesaler. Sometimes we do have to add some fee because we need to maintain, like our company, all expensive. But most of the time, we stick to the same price that the wholesalers sell. And we're, of course, yeah. So definitely, I'm looking, to source deals, and JV with you guys. Again, as I said, I want to be the owner, so not only, source the deal for a couple of grand. I want equity, and I'm also running, Airbnbs, so I have experience from the Airbnb industry, and I have a portfolio that I'm also doing property management, and I'm doing construction. I'm working with Doron also on the Spaceway, so I do multiple things. So definitely, looking, to bring value to this community and bring deals, bring JV, and let's do it all together. By the end of the day, there's so many ways to work together.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much, Alex. Appreciate you. We're looking forward to working with you. If you guys haven't yet, shoot Alex a text with your guys' buy box. I just did. Thank you, brother. Appreciate
you have my
Alex.
phone number. Yeah, definitely looking. If we're gonna keep this going, I'm definitely interested in once, a week, once a month for this co-living. It can be amazing.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you,
Alex.
guys.
Alex, can you tell those people in the restaurant to shut up? We're trying to have a meeting here.
Yeah,
we're busy.
10 p.m. It's 10 p.m. here. My family, we're hungry. We're in Greece. We have to go to eat something. Sorry, guys. But I couldn't miss this meeting. I unfortunately missed the Mount Everest, but this one I said, okay, I'm not missing this one. So anyway.
Awesome.
Shows your dedication, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for.
Appreciate you too.
Yeah, thank you.
No,
Hey, guys, I
you
don't
got
know.
a question?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
So I have a couple of candidates for so I'm hiring ops manager, and what criteria or requirement do you have for your ops manager? Or like, how do you create value for them?
Good question. Good question. So the way that I interview is probably a little bit different than the way most people interview. I think and I really love you bringing this question up, because when you ask that question, I think of how I used to hire, and it used to be from the standpoint of, hey guys, this is the position that I need. This is what I'm willing to offer you. And this is what the result that I need in return. Like, it's very transactional. And if you guys see like people who make posts around, I need a position filled, like it's pretty similar format. Hey, this is what I need. This is how you get compensated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's very transactional. So as an example, Nolan, if you were interviewing, if I put a job posting up, if I put a job description up for an operations manager, and you applied for the interview, and in this interview, I would start by letting you know that this is commission based, because I want to disqualify as fast as possible. So I'd start by letting you, hey, like this is a commission based position, at least to start off. We just pivoted our real estate investing strategy. We were wholesaling. Now we're looking to build a portfolio, and you are our first hire. And I'd probably let them know up front, we expect there's going to be a ramp up period over the course of the next 90 days. So there's going to be some onboarding that we'll do. I wouldn't expect a whole lot of action to happen. The reason that we're bringing you in right now is so when this position is filled, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go raise capital, and I'm going to go bring more deals into the company. So as we continue getting more and more deals sent to us, you'll become more and more busy. And then hopefully we'll find a property that we can take down. You get paid. I'm going to go raise the money for it. And then we'll start scaling from there. Now, we'll get a little bit deeper into the weeds as we go, and I'll get more into the specifics of the position, the SOPs, all that kind of stuff. But off the get-go, Noman, what made you reach out? What is it that you're looking for? What about this position stood out to you that said, man, you know what? This is something that I would love to do. And then you're gonna start telling me, oh, well, I either needed a job or I this is what stood out to me, or you have previous experience in this. And then I'm gonna just continue asking questions. I'm gonna ask you about what are your personal goals, and what are your professional goals? How do you know, how do you see this position aligning with getting you to your next milestone, both personally and professionally? And you're going to tell me what your thoughts are. And then I'm going to say, hey, cool. You know what? I've also got some other things I'm doing. I'm also putting events on. I'm also getting on stages. I do a lot of podcasting and things like that. And all of that contributes to bringing me more resources, getting me in front of more people, and which, again, is going to flow into deals and money. While I'm doing these, does anything about what I just described tickle your fancy? Like, are those also things that you're wanting to do? Do you see yourself growing in a leadership role as well? Do you see us hiring people underneath you that you can continue, as I pour into you, you pour into them, and together we just kind of help cultivate an abundant company culture and a group environment? Is that something that you are looking for? Or, and I know like 80% of people who leave their jobs, they do it not because they hate the job, it's because their boss is an asshole.
Yep.
Because they hate their boss. And so your job is to build the people. Most people think that their job in the business is to actually build the business. And it's not. If you guys can focus on becoming a world-class leader, that will make you more money than anything else. Because it's a completely different paradigm shift. Your job is to not grow the business. Your job is not to work in the business. Your job is to bring in the right people, and you pour into them. You build the people, and then the people build the business. So anyway, do you see kind of how I positioned myself in that interview, where I'm not sitting here selling you on anything. I'm not selling you this big dream for you to come in and be potentially disappointed. I'm taking the time to ask questions to understand what made you even want to apply this. Why did this even sound appetizing to you? How do you see yourself growing? And then based on what you tell me, I share a little bit more into my vision and what I'm trying to accomplish and why this is important, what my impact is. Might even share what my Mount Everest is. And what I do, Noman, is I invite you now onto the ride with me. Is this a ride that you want to take with me?
Yeah. That hit me hard. Like I felt like being interviewed and then like trying to ask for a question.
Are we going to get a recording of this? Because I love this and I can't write quick enough.
I know, right?
Yeah, I've got it recorded.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. So,
did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Well, I have a business, but I've been hiring mostly people from my circle. I never done like posting jobs and then interviewing people. Usually I just hire people that I trust, that they know that I know that they need job and money.
Yeah.
So like now I'm transitioning into the next level and I want to hire people and then I need to do the interview and stuff, right? So like, yeah, thank you so much. That helped a lot.
Awesome. You're welcome. I used to do the exact same thing. As I'd see people who like needed money, people who were trying to like struggle to get their first deal, whatever it was. And me thinking I was being a go-giver, and don't take this the wrong way. I'm not just telling you, just like anybody, when I say this, don't take this the wrong way. I don't mean it like this, but it comes back to one of those things where you've got to have your own oxygen mask on before you can start going and helping other people. And so what I did was, when I saw people that needed help, I brought them in thinking that I was doing them a favor. And the reality was I didn't have my oxygen mask on. I didn't know all the stuff that I just told you. And so what happened is I put myself in a position of hiring out of both scarcity and convenience. Most people hire out of scarcity and they hire out of convenience. I'm in this position. I got leads coming in. I need somebody to call them. Oh, hey, I met this person last night at a meetup and they sound super cool. And, we had a really great conversation. So let me just bring them in and see how it goes. That's not how you hire A players. Steve Jobs isn't hiring people like that. Henry Ford is not hiring people that way. So volume will solve 99% of your problems. You might have to sift through 200 or 300 resumes and then go interview 30 people to find that one person who's going to come in and they're going to tell you what to do. As a matter of fact, some of the interviews, I'll say, hey, you know what? Let me ask you, if we have this going on and a contractor does X, Y, and Z or whatever, just off the top of your head, real quick, what are maybe 2 or 3 things that you would do to help kind of remedy that situation? Or how would you better communicate this? Or how would you solve this problem? How would you go about solving this bottleneck? And you'll know right then and there. They'll start telling you. You'll be able to gauge right then and there. Is this somebody that I want to hire? So your job, were you at Squad Up?
Yes, I was.
You remember Dean Graziosi? Were you there when he was talking?
Yes.
Dean Graziosi, he had his glasses on, and he was talking about how nobody else can see your vision. And he said, what would happen if I was to take my reading glasses off and I hand it over to a friend of mine? Well, it's going to be fuzzy. They're not going to see anything. Oh, well, what about if I hand it over to a coworker? Well, it's going to be fuzzy. No. What about my spouse, though? It's still fuzzy. Because they can't see your dream. They can't see your vision the way that you can. You see 2020. They're not going to see it. And the reason I share that is because a lot of people are intimidated by hiring people that are smarter than they are or that know more than they do. And that's just one of those mindset things that eventually, and just for sake of time, I won't get into solving that problem, but you just got to get over. Because the benefit that you have, the way that they're going to make the money that they want to make is by allowing you to be able to see through your glasses. So that's great. They may know more about you in one position. They may know how to underwrite and how to do all these little tactical things and things like that. But what they can't go create is your vision. They don't see it the same way. They don't see the world the same way that you do. And that's your superpower. That's why you paid to be an owner's club. That's why you invested in this way. So that vision, those glasses become clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. And your job now is to just go put the right chess pieces in the right place. And that's something that they can't do without you. James, I saw you had your hand up, bro.
Yeah, I think I can relate to what you just said about the vision. I think majority of people that is in this business, their wife doesn't believe what they're doing. I am in the same boat. My wife, up to this point, even I show her the proof that there's a concept that what I'm doing is working, still doesn't see what the vision for our family is. All that she's asking me is like, did you make money? I was like, I'm putting the work in and I'm planting the seed. But I cannot harvest if I don't plant anything.
Right.
So that is my biggest hurdle.
Are you familiar with the Chinese bamboo tree story?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's where you're at right now. You've got this seed that's planting, and it's only just a matter of time. You're waiting for that thing to sprout where it's going to shoot up 90 feet in 6 weeks. So,
I even asked him, are you interested in becoming like a transaction coordinator? And at the same time, you can work from home as working with insurance company. You can be with the family at the same time. You can do TC work. You know what she asked me?
What's that?
am I gonna make money if I do a TC work? I was like, no, you're not gonna make money. Why? Because you haven't done anything yet.
You know, can I share something real quick that Dan Martell shared with me?
Okay, sure.
Do you have meetings with your team right now every week?
Yeah, almost every day.
Almost every day, so they're
Yeah.
scheduled out.
We're not scheduled, but whenever we have time, we hop on a Google Meet.
Is your meeting structured? Do you know what you're talking about? Do you know what your KPIs are?
No.
Okay. So I would invite you, as you get more structured, if you watched Pace's calendar series yet?
I did watch the first. I'm like on the first part of the second video, like a few minutes, maybe 20 minutes on the second video.
Okay. So you need to audit your schedule right now. And then you need to put your calendar together in a very structured way. Anytime you have a meeting with your team, it needs to be intentional. I would never hop on a team just to give updates. If you can shoot out updates in an email or whatever, like they're going to respect you more for that. Don't waste time with meetings if you don't have to. But the point that I'm trying to convey is, just like it's your job. I had a meeting with my team last night. Actually, as a matter of fact, perfect example. I had a meeting with my team last night, and my team was asking me about all the things that I have going on. They see all the content that I'm putting out. Like I said, I'm putting events on. I'm speaking over here. I'm speaking over there. I'm doing all these things. And I appreciate them giving me this feedback. And I cultivated an environment for them to be able to give me that feedback. And they were having trouble understanding where all these things that I have going on fits into the vision of the company. And so I thought that I was clear about that, but apparently I wasn't. And so I had the opportunity again to sit down with my team and show them where everything is lining up and how all of these things are growing the company and how that's all filtering down to what they're trying to do, both personally and professionally, and how they're wanting to grow and make money and travel and all that other kind of stuff. And so anyway, the point that I'm trying to share with you right now is, just like you need to be able to cast that vision to your team, and then you need to be able to show them exactly what you're doing and how this connects to this and this connects to that, and then this affects them. You need to be able to sit down with your wife and have the same conversation. Dan Martell said, why would you do this for your team, Jesse, and you not do the same freaking thing with your wife? He's like, my wife and I, we have a scheduled meeting. It's on the calendar every single Sunday at 6 p.m. And this is our time. I update my wife on what I'm doing. I update my wife on my travel plans for the next couple of weeks. I update my wife on what to expect for the next week, what my work schedule looks like, things going on with the kids, date night. And then, like Pace said, show me what's important to you, because it'll show up on your calendar. So add that to your calendar. As you're going through the calendar series, add that meeting with your wife on your calendar. Make it a non-negotiable.
The non-negotiable, okay.
All right. What else? What else you guys got? I want to keep it. I'm glad this is helpful for everybody. What questions do you guys have about the model? I want to make this focused on how can we work together? What are the bottlenecks? Where can we share information? What is step one? I want an action step. I'd love to have an action step from all of us in some sort of unity before we hop off this meeting.
Sorry, can I just ask, are we doing this weekly on Fridays from 2 to 3, just so I can put it in my calendar as a weekly thing?
Let's put a pin in that. I've got a yeah, I just had some spare time, so I was like, hey guys, if anybody wants to jump on a Zoom, Susan brought something up, let's get us all on a call so we can schedule something out.
Okay.
Yeah, Michelle.
I was just wondering if you guys can outline a little bit more of what it looks like with your company if we want to partner with you. How much would it cost to I know I asked you this before, but we have Bill on the call now. You said ask Bill. Bill's here. So can you outline for us what that's like if we want to partner with you guys? I know it's if I understand right, you would be doing the part where you're helping us find the clientele, and so the dispo part, and then the operations part. Is that correct? And when you outline the 4 areas.
So short answer, yes. Bill, the part that Michelle and I were talking about at Squad Up, that I would love for you to elaborate on. She was asking about like, how are you guys like finding the clients? Like, how can we work together? What does that back end look like? I was like, dude, like Bill's got like 15 different ways for monetizing our model. And he would be the guy to be able to kind of expand on some of those things. But in short, I'll answer real quick and then I'll let Bill answer. Yeah. So we're looking for deals and money. So Michelle, if you find a deal and you're like, hey guys, I found a deal. This makes sense. This cash flows. It's like, great. We'll bring the money. We'll bring the know-how. We'll bring the operations. Like we can JV on it that way. And we can buy a deal together. We have a deal and Michelle, you can bring the money side of it. Then we can handle the operations and all the other kind of stuff. That's something that we can do too. Like we're open. And then, I'll let Bill kind of talk about some of the other ways that we can work together.
Okay. Ready for me?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So Jess, can I screen share?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I try to keep child locks off of my Zooms.
Gotcha. Let's see. I'm gonna start with real quick what a deal looks like for us. Okay. And this is our basic buy box. And so if you don't have a buy box, you really need to dial this down for what you're specifically looking for so people know specifically how they can help you. The better off you, the more detailed you are when you do that, the more opportunities are going to come your way because people know that this is a deal for you. Okay. So can you see my screen that says buy box here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is our basic buy box for my gals. What we're looking for is we're looking for 6-bedroom homes. That's the optimal. Remember, when you go above 6, now you're dealing in other things, and you don't want to dance in that area unless you're prepared to do that, and you want to deal with permitting and things like that. So a 6-bedroom is the best possible scenario. Another scenario is a 5-bedroom with a 2-car garage that we can easily convert into another bedroom plus possibly another bathroom. Now, this is going to probably cost another $25,000 to $30,000 when you do that, when you make a garage conversion. So your best option with the least amount of money going into a deal is looking for a 6-bedroom deal. 4 bedrooms is another option if there's ample space in the building that you can convert easily into more bedrooms with a 2-car garage. Doesn't have to be a 2-car garage, but it can be one or the other. The other thing you want to look for is it needs to have ample parking. Now, not everybody drives. However, I would say probably 75% of the people that are going to be renting from you are going to have a car or visitors or whatever the case. Or they're going to be getting picked up for their appointments and so on and so forth. So ample parking or off-street parking that is allowed, which in the same situation, looking down to where it says perks and preferences, no HOAs. You really want to stay away from HOAs. Not all HOAs are bad. There's some HOAs that just say you can't have junk cars on your lot, or you got to clean up your dog crap, or or whatever the case. But some of them are very stringent, and they really get into the weeds as far as who's allowed and the color of your paint, and whatever the case. And those are the ones you want to stay away from. So for us, a ranch style home is preferred, but not required. The reason why it's preferred is because we are dealing with people in an older age, and getting up and down the stairs is not going to be as desirable as just a ranch home. So what's going to happen is you're going to limit the amount of people that are willing to rent that very specific home or are capable of renting that specific home. And as soon as they do age out or hurt themselves or break a hip or something like that, now they're going to be moving, looking for a home that has the capabilities of no steps. So we will buy homes with stairs, but preference to ranch homes first. Pools and large yards with activity space is a preference. Now, however, you got to keep in mind that your monthly costs are going to rise with pool maintenance and so on and so forth. Your insurance is probably going to be higher as well. Room for raised garden beds and outdoor gathering areas is always a plus. If you have a 5-bedroom home already and you're not going to convert the garage, you may decide you want to convert the garage into like an activity space for this, and that'll just make the areas more desirable to rent. So the areas that we're looking for are warm weather states, landlord friendly states, no major HOA restrictions, and currently right now we are excluding Texas just for the moment because of, from what I understand, because of their insurance rates and their taxes have gone up pretty high. So we're staying away from that area. So budget and underwriting guidelines, the PITI should not exceed 50% of half of the projected monthly rent. Okay. Sorry. The max PITI for a 4-bedroom home, well, the max PITI should be 50% of the rents that you're capable of getting. The three-bedroom homes, we are not interested in at all, unless it is just like the perfect opportunity, the perfect space, and there's a lot of areas where we can just put in a couple walls and it's still a desirable home. Our model is we're not really looking to chop up the house like we would in a normal pad split or something like that, or a co-living home, and trying to jam as many bedrooms, because we want it to be a desirable place where mom wants to live, right? And the majority of the people who are making the decisions in a situation like this are going to be usually the kids helping mom get into a place where she can go and have community. Desired down payment. This isn't going to happen every single time, but a desired down payment is 8% or less. The assignment fee, no greater than 2%. And then the preferred strategies that we're looking for is number one, we're looking for private money partners. The second option is a private money lender. Now I'm going to show you why I said all of that stuff. Oops, where did it go? There it is. There. Okay. Before I go into breaking down the cost, does anybody have any questions?
I have a couple of
questions.
Okay.
So would you do a Morby method on this on the deal?
The answer is possibly. It just depends on if it all works out. From what I understand about Morby methods is, I mean, you're almost looking at like pretty much a DSCR loan, right? Pretty close to. But what I understand about a Morby method is that it's got to make sense to everybody, and the lender's got to allow a primary and a secondary. Is that right, Jess?
Yeah.
Okay. So the quick answer to that is possibly. It's honestly preferred if you can, but they're so screwy and there's so many different angles on it that it's going to be different for every time.
So would you do it in Virginia?
In Virginia?
Yeah.
Is that a state we're in, Jess?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a landlord-friendly state?
It is tenant-friendly state, but I have a deal that fits exactly in your buy box, but it's in Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia.
Well, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll shoot you the email in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Now this is how we're basically looking at a loan, or when we're doing the underwriting on a home to try and determine, is this a good fit for us? So this is just a basic. I just put an average price in of $450,000. PI is $1,600, taxes $4,000 a year, insurance $1,500. So the total PITI on this is $3,433. And then I put in 7% for the down payment, and I'm going to show you why. It'll make sense as we go through this. But 7% for the down payment brings me at about $31,500. Excuse me. And then this particular deal that I was looking at has an 8-year balloon. That doesn't really matter for this. But okay, so down payment is $31,500. I'm going to try and keep my wholesalers' fees down to about 2.25%. A furniture cost, when you go to furnish a home, and your model may require you to furnish your home. It's up to you, whatever you decide. You may allow people to bring in their own furniture. The only reason I personally don't want to do that, and we still may allow it, but I personally don't want to, is number one, people bring in bed bugs with them. And then you have those situations. Number two, they bring in junk. Number three, they might bring in nicer stuff than everyone else. But they're also going to damage things, bringing things in and out, and so on and so forth. So it makes more sense just to have really nice furniture, have it decked out, not top of the line stuff, but still a desirable thing that everyone can have the same amount, the same stuff in each one of the rooms. So our desire is to have a nice queen size bed, 2 lampstands, 2 nightstands, a personal refrigerator, like a dormitory refrigerator, a microwave in the room just in case. So the fridge is for their personal medications and things like that. And then so
I think
what
we included a Twister board game in every room as well.
Yeah, it's mandatory Twister.
Yeah.
And artwork for the walls. And so what we came up with to furnish an entire home, just like you would for an Airbnb, is about $25,000 if you're buying it all brand new. Okay. So you got to consider that when you're looking at each house. Closing costs, I figured we're going to be roughly around 2%. And this is not an agent. If there's an agent involved, you have to add that into the closing costs. The TC is probably going to be around $1,250. Holding costs, so you want to have at least 2.5 months of your PITI and operating expenses for just so until you're chock full of your clientele and all your rooms are full. So plan for about 2.5 months. Construction costs on this one, there's really nothing that we have to do. I just put in $5,000 just in case something pops up, and you want to be able to just be ready for things like that to happen. And then miscellaneous costs of $2,000. So total PML loan that I need in order to get in this place is $90,000. Okay. Now, what we're looking at is if this is a PML, possibly we're going to pay 13% interest. And if you were to take this amount here and multiply it times 13%, your interest only is $11,700. Your interest only payments divided by 12 are $977 a month. Your monthly cost is $3,433, which is your PITI up here. And then you also have the building operating costs. Every house is going to cost you, if you think about it and just throw this number on top of it, about $1,500 a month. So take your PITI plus $1,500 a month, and that's about what it's going to cost you to operate this home, not to include your PML loan, your interest-only PML loan. So now your total monthly cost, operating cost, and your PML is going to be $5,970 per month. So now you got to think about this. Okay, now this is where you figure out, okay, how many bedrooms do I need to have? This is why a 3-bedroom will not work, right? How many bedrooms do I need to have? And what can I actually rent this out for? What you should be pricing each room in our opinion is what the going rate is for a 1-bedroom apartment in that neighborhood. Because if you look over here, everything else is included. Their utilities are included. All the operating expenses are included. Their Wi-Fi is included, everything. So basically, they're getting a really good deal by renting out this room. Plus, they have community. Now, okay, so carrying that forward down to here, I have, in this particular model, I have 5 bedrooms. And I'm renting it out at $1,500 because that's the going in the area. $1,500 per room. And oh, I'm sorry about that. That's not supposed to be here. Okay. So $1,500 per room at 5 bedrooms gives me $7,500 a month in income. I also include a vacancy rate of 15%. The vacancy loss is $1,125 a month. You may have less vacancies. Let's just say you have 5% vacancy rate. Now you're cash flowing better. So now you're actually bringing in $7,125. Total cash flow on this particular deal after you've paid your PML interest loan is $1,154. Okay, per month. So what this may tell you is, based on these rents, it may or may not be worth your time to do it. So what you may decide to do is either raise your rents, have nicer stuff and raise your rents, or add that additional bedroom in the garage. Now, this is what happens. You see what happened to the cash flow? Just went up to $2,579 just by adding that one additional bedroom. But now, in order to do that, I'm going to have to add $30,000 more into this loan. Is that all making sense so far? Okay. So now someone was asking earlier basically how you're going to get out of this loan. So this is just year one. So the only thing I'm doing right now is I'm paying the PML a payment, his interest only, and I'm also paying him principal. I'm going to take 75% of all my income that's coming from this property, and I'm going to pay that to him every single month. So what that is that's $1,934. The first 2 months I'm not giving him anything. I don't have it projected to give him anything at all. And the reason is because I have to fill it with tenants, right? So I'm not paying him anything. But starting from month 3 to month 12, I'm paying him 75% of all the income that comes in, the net cash flow. So what that does still for me, it still creates an income for me. I'm still getting $6,400 at the end of the year, about roughly a little over $500 a month is still coming in cash flow, even though I paid him all of this money. And so still what I owe to the private money lender at the end of this loan is basically $71,000. Everybody tracking that so far? Okay, so now I'm going on to year 2, and year 2 basically carries over that note that I still owe. Can I get rid of this 1 second? Okay. Now, what happens was inflation happened, and I needed to raise my rents 5%, and I also raised inflation, the cost of utilities and the operators 3%. Now, the private money loan is now $71,000 instead of the $90,000 to start with. So it went down. This is my year 2 loan. Basically go through all the same thing that I just went through with you. I'm going to add in that extra additional bedroom so I can show you this. Okay. So now I'm still paying in 75% of all the principal that's coming, or 75% of all the profit that's coming in. And my total that I'm paying him that year is $30,000. Now going on to year 3, basically you can see the pay down happening. So basically somewhere around the 30-month mark is when this property gets paid off to the private money lender. Now, year 4, the projection on this, year 4, I'm cash flowing about $5,000 a month, $60,000 a month on this property. So if you can imagine, I took this property and this model, and I've paid zero money out of my pocket to do this. And I did this 10 times. I'd be pulling in $45,000 to $50,000 a month if I go out and find 10 of these properties. Does anybody see the value in that?
I do. I have a question. Maybe I missed it.
go
What did you buy the property for? You said you had a $90,000 loan to the private money lender, but you bought the property for
So
90,000?
I bought the property for $450,000. And the down payment was $31,500. The 7% of the down payment, basically. Or 7% of the loan was the down payment.
The loan pay off in 8 years. Okay.
That's a different property. This one doesn't really matter for
Okay.
that. Yeah, it was one that I was working up, one that I'm buying in Pensacola right now.
Paying the private money lender plus you're paying your loan or the loan
Yep,
off.
right here.
Okay. Monthly cost.
So here's the private money lender loan. And
Okay.
and the neat thing is, if you look on year 2, that payment went down because my balance went down.
So it's an interest only payment and then
And then I'm paying extra principal.
okay. Okay.
So basically that's the idea. Now that's really option 2. The best option for this, guys, is finding a private money partner and having them just front load all of the expenses, and they take care of that side of it, and you split the profits with them. You manage the property. They're basically buying into a property with you. You could work it out where they're paying 100% of the buy-in, where they're paying 100% of the buy-in, and then you paying 50% back after 5 years. This could be a full-time, forever partner on this property as long as you have it, and then you have the agreement that if you guys decide to sell it, you cash them out. They get equity as far as, let's say, in 5 years, you gained $150,000 in equity. They're going to get half the cash flow, the monthly cash flow, plus they're going to get 50% of the equity when you sell it. It really just depends. The awesome thing about creative is you get to create.
I had somebody, I was on one of the co-living Zooms, and she was presenting, she would find a property, but she wanted you to bring in all of the money for everything, and she would manage it, and you would get 50%.
And that's, you just have to pencil it out and see if it makes sense.
Yeah, I was thinking that kind of was not 50-50. Maybe it is. I don't know.
It's not what it is. It's somebody who is, let's say, for example, we talk about this all the time. So do you have money sitting in an IRA or a 401 or in the bank?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's in the bank, what's your interest rate that you are gaining every single month?
Well, the money in the bank, I think it's 5%.
I doubt it. It's probably less than 1.
It's an account called Retirable.
Oh.
We moved our money into it's a checking account and a savings account. We get interest every month on it.
So the average bank pays less than 1%. Yeah, less than 1%. So what that means is, well, let me ask you one more question. What is the average rate of national inflation?
The rate of inflation?
About
Yeah.
5%.
Is it 5%?
Between 5 and 7%. So if you put your money in the bank, how much money are you making at the end of the year?
Negative.
Nothing.
Negative. About negative 6%, right? So the reason why something like this might make sense is if you know somebody who's got a 401 or if they've got money sitting in a safe in the wall or something, it's losing money every single year. A savings account, not a 401, but it's losing money every single year. So the longer that they sit on it, the worse off they are. So you're actually helping them. You're not selling them on an idea. What you're doing is you're helping them to find an investment that's going to bring them more of a return than what they're doing right now. So the reason why somebody might spend that $90,000 is because they're losing 7% of their $90,000 every year. But with you, they could be gaining 13, right?
Okay.
So it just makes sense. You just have to look at it from one way to the next. And plus, if they have, you could be giving them the depreciation as well. You might say, hey, for the first 2 years, I'm going to give you 100% of the depreciation. That means a lot, especially if they're paying high taxes. If they got tons of money, they're paying tons of taxes, right? So they could use every tax write-off that they possibly can. Not to mention the fact that there's going to be appreciation when you guys go to sell or you go to refinance or you structure a deal like, hey, in 5 years, I'll refinance this house and I'll buy you out. Well, at the end of that 5 years, they gained 5 years of appreciation, which is probably about 20 to 25% in appreciation of the value, and 20% of $450,000 is $90,000. So now they just gained $45,000 on top of that, plus all of the cash flow, plus the depreciation. I mean, it's only a win-win when you write it down.
Okay.
What kind of other questions you guys got?
You know what? With my experience with seniors having a lot of money in the bank and their 401k, sometimes it's really very hard to convince them. Even if you lay down the numbers.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. You're probably 100% right. It can be difficult. But those few that see what you're talking about, those are the people that you're looking for. When you can actually spell it out to them. And Jess, this might be something we work on, is maybe some kind of pitch class that we can all work on, talking to possible investors or potential investors who have money sitting in the bank that are just burning it every single month.
Yeah, no, that's our money quadrant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a question.
Bill, is it
Yep.
possible for you to share this Excel sheet for us to play around and see if we can, if I
Absolutely.
see a proper, thank you. This is amazing.
$5,000.
No,
Yeah,
50%.
no problem.
50%.
I'm going to put my email in the chat. Just email me, and I will send you guys a copy of it. I have to put it into Google Forms where you can't change it on me. So I'll send you a copy.
I have a question.
It's a quick question. Do you place registered nurses in Golden Girls homes?
I'm having struggle hearing you. One more time.
Oh, do you place nurses in your senior living homes?
No, because that's not our model. We're not looking to have that kind of model. However, we did talk at one point that there could be an upgraded model down the road of what we're looking at, and also just an upgraded perk where we might. This is one of the 15 ways that you can make money, right? Think about an affiliate for this opportunity. Think about all the affiliate possibilities. Like you could have a chef come in once a week and create meals for these ladies that decide that they want to pay into that. Not everybody would. You can hire a nursing outfit for someone to come in once a month and just do a welfare check and vitals and things like that, or whatever the case. And there's so many different possibilities for affiliates, like even a security system that has one of those pendant clasps that if they fall down, they can just press the button, and so on and so forth. You can make affiliates on that. There's just the opportunities are absolutely endless with this. Did I answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
But
it's not our model right now.
I see. Yes. I was thinking about hiring student nurses and then maybe give them a scholarship for reduced or free rent in return of their service. So yeah, that might. I'm trying to structure it that way, but I see.
That's
what
the
you guys
amazing
are
part
doing.
about this is you could do it, 100 different ways and so many different opportunities. And maybe that means that instead of charging $1,500 a month, you're charging 2,000 because it comes with that. However, what you got to remember is as soon as you put that you are an assisted care facility, it's a whole new world. You're
It needs a
you're
license,
now
right?
you're going to be tied down to red tape like you would not believe. However, when you can get to that point, yeah, you can charge out of the nose once you've passed and crossed all that red tape. I have a house, my current home that I live in would be perfect for an assisted living home. As a matter of fact, it was designed to be an assisted living home, but I don't want to do it because I don't want to have to go through all of the crap that you have to do to not only get it certified, but to maintain it. I'd rather just cash flow a smaller amount.
Right.
Yeah.
I like your model. It's simpler, easy to scale.
Yeah. Yep.
I have a question, Bill, on
Yes.
the if you're doing the one level homes, can they have some of the bedrooms be in the basement, or would that be considered going up or down a level?
Well, it's not really a one level home anymore because you have stairs. But the answer is yes, because and this is the discussion that we had the other day with our team, was that we were trying to determine, are we going to stay away from homes with stairs? The answer is no. And the reason is because you're going to have people who are capable and you're going to have people who are not. And the people who are not are easily going to weed themselves out. They're going to do a walk through the house and they're going to say, you know what, this one doesn't fit for me because I have a hip issue or my leg or, whatever the case, and I have troubles getting up and down the stairs. They're going to weed themselves out. And what that does is it gives you a scalable option or a model that, the next house you go by, if you're getting 10 people who say, I can't do it because of this, then now you should only be buying ranch homes. But the model is 55 and older. Guys, I'll be 51 in like 3 weeks. I can get up and down the stairs, no problem. And so can many, many, many people who are well into their 70s. So I'm not really super concerned about it myself, but again, they will weed themselves out for that property if it's that much of an issue.
Thank you.
What else?
Okay, I have a question. So I have equity in my home. I guess any advice you would give me, or if it was you, what would you do? So I have equity in my home. Again, it's Canada, so our dollar is super low compared to you guys. But I've been told to buy my first property using my own money, and so I could have proof of concept when I'm going out to raise capital. But then I've talked to since joining Owners Club, that's not necessarily the case, that there's money out there and that I don't need to use my own money to raise capital. I just have to network, etc. And then use my money to lend out. So do you think that I would need to use my own money at least for the first property, or do you think that there's many opportunities to raise capital even if you haven't had your first property yet?
So deals and money, that's what we said earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to have access to deals and access to money. When I first started doing Gator loans, Pace said, the very first thing he said is, do not use your own money because you will burn through it and you'll end out with nothing left.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to learn how to capital raise. He said, learn how to capital raise now.
Okay.
I did not listen. And I was stupid. I burned up all my money. And what happened was I did all these loans and then I lent everything out. And then in 6 months, I had to go 6 months without being able to lend any money.
Mm.
And what I did is I lost all my traction.
Mm.
I lost all my connections. People weren't calling me anymore because they knew I didn't have any more money. And so I either had to learn how to capital raise or get out of the lending business. Guess what I did?
Cut out.
I got out of the lending business because it was too hard for me to learn how to capital raise. So definitely take the time, learn how to capital raise. If that's what you want to do is use your own money, then, no
I
problem.
don't. I don't. I'm just being told
I
that
wouldn't.
I don't want to. I just keep hearing different advice from different people, and they're like, use your money for the first one. You need to have proof of concept. It's going to be hard to raise capital when you don't have anything to show yet. But then I have other people who are like you, and they give me that light at the end of the tunnel, or like make me feel positive and say, no, you don't need to use your own money. You just have to learn how to raise capital, which is the only thing.
The proof of concept is learning how to raise capital.
Okay.
Right? Because you can find deals all day long. If you can raise capital, you're going to be unstoppable.
Okay. That's amazing. Thank you.
Jess, did you have something you want to say on that?
How much time you got? We're an owners club. This is a safe space, right? We can kind of talk freely here.
Are you getting all this, Pace? Are you getting all this?
I think when somebody tells you that you can't or shouldn't do something, I've gotten to the point now. I think that I have a pretty high EQ. I think I have a pretty high emotional intelligence meter. And when somebody says that you can't do something, I saw somebody make a post in Sub 2 a couple of weeks ago, said something about you should not hire an operations manager on a commission or this or that. And you will never receive criticism from somebody who's doing more than you.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about why that is. Why would somebody ahead of you never tell you that you can't do something or criticize you for doing something a certain way? Because they understand that in order for them to get up here, they had to become resourceful as fuck.
Mm.
And so for somebody else down here who operates within a shell, who's confined and says, well, you can't do this because of this, and this, and you can't go hire an operations manager. You can't go raise capital. You need to have proof of concept. That screams, it's so clear to me how this person thinks.
Yeah.
And they are somebody that I would never go JV with. They're somebody I would never go partner with. Because anytime something comes up, they're going to be the person that says, well, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm always the person, and you guys are the person that says, watch me.
Mm-hmm.
You go hire an operations manager. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. I mean, I literally go off another 2 hours just on this one thing here, but for the sake of time, I won't. But yeah, go hire, go raise money, man. Yeah. I've never not once ever used a penny of my own money. I've been in Sub 2 since Pace for Start for 5 years now.
Wow.
So you got people that are out here telling you that you should or do something one way. Pay attention to who's doing the thing that you want to be doing, Connie. When you look at people who give you that advice, look at them.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, you know what? When I look at them, are they running their business? Do they communicate in the way that I want somebody to be communicating?
Yeah.
Are
Well,
they
that's
doing
why
the thing? So anyway,
that's why I joined Owners Club. I wanted to be with more like-minded or high-level thinkers.
yeah.
Because it was just this meeting alone, honestly, if I may, has been worth the amount of money that I paid for Owners Club, because I love the energy, I love the positivity, and I love what we're learning and what we're going to be learning. I can't even tell you how many times I've jumped off my seat. I know my camera's been off because I don't want to embarrass myself, showing how excited I am to be here. So thank
You guys
you.
remember back in the day when Tom Cruise was on Oprah Winfrey and he
Yes,
was
and
dating
he jumped
Katie
on the
Holmes and he
couch.
jumped on
Yeah.
the chair? Yeah, and he's like this.
That was me so many times, not jumping, but literally almost jumping off my seat.
Love it, Connie. Awesome. Well, it sounds like you got your answer then.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys. I've got 12 minutes until my next meeting. That's my official hard stop. We've done a little bit of Q&A today. This has been awesome. I showed you guys the model. Does the model make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, anything outside of that model, you do not do. Do not waste your time. Somebody reaches out to you. Here's a really cool filter. Somebody reaches out to you and wants to jump on a call. Hey, I would love to connect further with you. What would you like to talk about? And then if whatever they want to talk about has nothing to do with one of those 4 quadrants, don't do it. You protect your freaking time with your life.
Check my calendar.
Check your calendar. Yeah. All right. I would love to get some action steps here. I could have went ahead and as I was prepping for today, put together action steps, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to use this as an opportunity to give you guys some context, share with you guys a different perspective, and allow all of us to come together as a team and put together what our action steps will be. Actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, I actually need to make this announcement to everybody. I just found out this morning. My kids have basketball games and dance recitals going on at the same time tomorrow. So my wife and I are going to be required to go in 2 different places at once. So what I'll end up doing for tomorrow for everybody in our Mount Everest study group is probably just giving them this recording. Because I know there's a lot of value in here that I think everybody could get beyond just the senior co-living model. Mm-hmm. So that's probably what we'll do for tomorrow. But wanted to say that while I was on the top of my mic, because I almost forgot. What should our action steps be?
Look for a deal.
Okay.
You know what I would say, Jess, is I would say you need to have a first vision. Why are you here? What type of co-living are you trying to do? Some people want to get into the assisted living. If you do, then understand it's going to require more. But the first thing I would do is I would have a buy box. I'd know what I'm looking for. What is the model home that I'm looking for? Where is it? And how much do I want to spend? You know, so on and so forth. Have the buy box. That would be my first thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you share it with us, then we can help you, because what's awesome is Jesse and we get tons of deals coming at us every week. And there's areas we're not going to go to, or we're not going to do things in, or whatever the case. But if we know that maybe we have your buy boxes, we can pass them off to you.
Mm. I like that, Bill. That's awesome. Yeah. What a great way to bring us all together. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
because I know that I haven't gotten my buy box done, because I don't even know how to manipulate the template, but also I didn't know what to put on it. But yours gave me some great ideas. So I'm gonna watch a video to see how to do that Canva template. But yeah, that's because as owner club members, I know that they're sharing our buy box with people all across the community, right? So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. For those with a VA, I mean, I asked my VA to do it myself. He probably did it in 20 minutes. I'll probably do it in 2 hours.
Yeah. I don't have a VA yet.
Buy back your time.
Yep.
That's great.
Does that sound like a good action step for everybody? If you guys don't have your buy box Canva template put together yet, then that's your homework. Got to have that put together before we can start bringing in deals.
Yeah.
Or you can also edit on someone's buy box. I made it on Canva. I can share it with you.
Say that again. Sorry.
Like, I made my buy box on Canva, so you can just edit on it. It's easier and faster.
Oh, that would be great.
I'll just send you the link.
Thank you so much. Because I tried to play around with it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard.
Yeah.
I just sent the outline of our buy box in the chat, and that will spell out everything that we talked about of the ideal home that we're looking for.
Perfect. Thank you.
There's a daughter of an owner club member. This is what she does for a living. It was like $65 to have her do our buy box for us.
Really? Oh, I would have gladly paid that. I spent like 5 hours on mine.
I paid my VA maybe 2 hours of her time for $4.50.
Yeah. Her name is Janessa. Here is her email. She's great. And I met her dad at Squad Up.
Hey, I wanted to mention, just since you have just a couple minutes left, we have a couple deals that we're working right now, guys, that we actually need lenders on. So someone here mentioned possibly partnering with us. Our average deal, we're looking anywhere between $60,000 and $100,000. And you saw the payback and how it works, and it's pretty much, I think I worked it out, it was like a 25% cash on cash return. So if you have the means, or if you have a PML or private money partner, whatever the case, that you're working with on a close basis, and they're looking for projects, we have projects that we need funded right now.
So I just had somebody reach out to me today to have a meeting with me, and he is a connector, and he has private money lenders that he works with. I can give that information in the chat, and I don't know if you want to reach out, but he
It'd be
says
amazing.
that him and his brother are both in sub 2, and they do deals all the time and have all these connections with private money lenders. So I'll give you his name right now in the chat.
Very cool.
Yeah, good idea, man. What a great way for all of us to be able to come in and work together and
I agree.
impact lives this way. Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to meet private on a Zoom with Jess or I, just let us know. I'm happy to. I'll check my schedule.
Cool, guys. Well, hope everybody has an awesome weekend. Do me a favor, if you guys don't mind, if there's just one, if I could just ask one thing of everybody, if you got value from today, if there's just one thing from today that was shared, please, and regardless of whether or not it was for me or Bill or anybody else who shared anything, like just go make a post. Like we should take more pictures. We need to document this journey as we're all going through this together. Connie, stop jumping on your couch long enough for a picture. Love it. Let's go let everybody know what we're doing. Let's go create some content. Go make some posts. What was one thing that you needed to hear today? What was one thing that helped? What did you learn? Go share it with somebody else.
Yeah. Start your brand today if you haven't. Your brand starts today. Got to be posting regularly.
And guys, I just want to shout out today. I'm so happy that I met Nomi. She's in Arlington, which is just neck of my woods. I feel so grateful for this group because I found someone in Virginia, and it's not really very often that someone understands what I'm doing. So to have meeting someone through you guys, that's just right here. You know, I could cry. I'm so emotional. I'm so happy because you feel so alone in the journey a lot of times. And so thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Thank you, March, for showing up.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. That's the part of the journey that you don't expect. People don't tell you about that. People don't tell you that if you're really trying to change the world, if you're really trying to create impact, it's a lonely road. There's only a few people that are willing to do the work. So this is awesome. No, thank you for sharing that. I couldn't agree more.
Thanks, Jess, for putting this together. Appreciate you, brother.
Oh, dude, it's my pleasure. Susan, thank you for dropping that in there, man. This whole thing happened because of you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I was in the hospital, all kinds of stuff, and I was like, I need help with this.
Well, we're thinking of your husband. Got our fingers and toes crossed that his recovery is quick and easy and hopefully as painless as it can be.
Yeah. All right.
Keep us in the loop. Let us know if you need anything, okay?
All right, will do. Thank
All
you.
right. Love you all. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much, Jesse.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate you all.